What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Glass Gamut here, bringing you another Outriders demo video. Now, for this video, we wanted to take a look at the Technomancer and see the do's and don'ts, basically, with this class. How powerful can it actually be? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go over the basics first. We're going to hit that class tree. We're going to look at a couple things there to see what the passives are like. As long as I've been playing so far, this class it's actually turned into one of my favorites. It's actually beating the Pyromancer now too. And the Pyromancer is something that I was really looking forward to. I know that class is still kind of underplayed because it doesn't have the volcanic rounds yet. But definitely, if this seems like something you'd be interested in looking at, definitely stay tuned. We're going to check that out. We're going to check out the basics, and then we're also going to go into what I think this build could be later in the future. So thanks again for choosing Glass Bridges Entertainment, and I'll see you soon. Alright guys, now that we've made it to the class tree, we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about what the Technomancer has to offer for passives, basically, and what the Technomancer is basically here to do. So the Technomancer has long range, it is a support, and it has gadgets. Your melee skill is going to deal 86 damage and inflict freeze to all enemies within a small radius if they are hit. Now, my damage is at 86 because of my anomaly power, so yours might be a little bit lower or a little bit higher depending on how much anomaly power you actually have on your demo build. Next, we're going to talk about the healing mechanic. As the Technomancer, you will recover a portion of the damage you deal as health. Alright, so as you're shooting someone, you're going to get that health back. And then we have three passives here. You're going to increase long range weapon damage by 15%. We have increased skill leech by 15%. And then you're going to increase your weapon leech by 15%. These will always be there for you. You do not have to worry about those leaving. Now, for the demo specifically, I am in Demolisher. I went ahead and took two pieces there, or put my 2 points there. We're using Anomaly Fueled, which increases your anomaly power by 6%. And then we're going to be using Ordnance Technician, which reduces Ordnance skill cooldown by 15%. And it's going to affect those skills down there. So that's going to be Shrapnel, that's going to be your Pain Launcher, and then that's going to be the Tool of Destruction, which we cannot get yet until level 9. So that'll be something that we get a little bit later once the game fully releases. Alright, now that we've gone over the basics for the class tree and what the Technomancer is basically here to do, we're going to go ahead and go over the skills that I'm actually using for the demo. The first skill is going to be the Shrapnel. Now you're going to throw a proximity mine. The explosion is going to deal 394 damage and interrupts the skills of enemies caught within the blast radius. The type is going to be Ordnance, and it's going to interrupt. This skill has a 19-second cooldown. Alright. The second skill I am using is going to be Blighted Rounds. So you're going to fill your current weapon magazine with decay-infused bullets that inflict toxic onto enemies. Enemies within a small radius of the main target also receive toxic and 50% of the damage. The skill lasts until you reload or switch weapons. The type is DK, and your cooldown is going to be 58 seconds. And last on the list, we're going to be using the Pain Launcher. It's going to place a missile launcher and bomb the area in front of you. Each missile deals 51 damage per hit and interrupts enemy skills. The type is going to be Ordnance, and it's going to interrupt. The cooldown is going to be 34 seconds here. Now, the reason I chose these skills is pretty much because of what I have in my inventory. Now, I got 3 legendary weapons that I am using for this build. I got really lucky farming with the Technomancer, and to tell you the truth, this is one of my favorites now since I've been farming with them. The Pain Launcher is great, the Shrapnel Trap is great, and the Blighted Rounds is great. So why don't we just go ahead, we're going to jump into the build and show you what we have there and how we're actually utilizing these skills with the full build. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, now we've made it to the inventory, so we're going to go over the basics first. This is the Technomancer. The firepower is going to be 347, which doesn't really matter. I don't have any firepower on my build at all when it comes to my gear pieces. The only thing that has that 347 is going to be the gun that I'm holding in my hand. As you can see here, it says 347 right on that gun. This build is basically built off of the anomaly power because I just want to use my gadgets to kill the enemies as quick as possible. It is a great farming method. You can kill that boss in like 5-10 seconds. The anomaly power that I have is going to be 390. Anomaly power increases the damage dealt by melee skills and status effects. The increase is displayed in the skill damage bonus statistics at the bottom, which is going to show skill damage bonus there, which I have 107.7%. Now I'm going to be rocking a little low health. I'm not really worried about the health. I have a lot of sustain with this because when I shoot my weapon, I'm getting health back, and then I have a couple things that are helping me in my kit when it comes to my armor pieces as well that are going to give me survivability here. So I'm not worried about the health being this low. The armor is going to be 988, and like I was saying, this is one of my favorite classes since I've been farming with this one so far. This is a great class to use. Now I am using 3 legendaries. I picked these up. They're great weapons. The first one that I'm using is going to be the Pyromancer. It's a pump action shotgun. Breach VAR. It's going to have firepower at 347. Crit damage is going to be 11%. We got some healing received at 6.5, which helps me when I'm actually shooting those enemies. I'm getting 6.5% extra. And then we got that close range damage at 7%. Now that first perk that we have there is going to be weightlessness. This is what I use to initiate my fights with so that I can set up all of my gadgets to kill those captains or anything that's in my way, basically, whether it be a rifleman or a marksman or the breachers that are coming with you or at you, with those shotguns. So these shots inflict time rift on enemies. The time rift raises the enemy into the air for 5 seconds, which is really great. It's more than enough time to set up your traps and kill those guys, which you're going to be doing with this build. The way I have it set, you're going to throw that pain launcher down. That's going to be your missile launchers. It's going to blow them up, and then you're going to throw 2 shrapnel traps right on top of him, and he should be dead every time. The second perk is going to be critical point. It's going to increase the chance of scoring a critical shot by 15%. Now this gun has a low clip size at 3, which is not bad because of the way that I have my armor set up. I can definitely keep getting that ammo back. And then we have 86 rounds per minute with a flat 182 damage. We got 1.6 seconds reload, and then we have 104% critical multiplier with this gun. Now this gun is great. I really like this. It's really great for initiating fights, and usually I can get in and out of a fight with no problem. Now if I have all of my skills on cooldown, I'll switch over to this Grim Marrow. This is a light machine gun stabilizing VAR. Firepower for this is going to be 313. We got critical damage at 11.9%. Then we have some skill life leech, which is at 1.08%. And then we have some close range damage at 6%. The first perk here is going to be Singularity, which is glitched right now, so we're not really worried about that, but I'm going to go over it anyway. Killing shots create an anomaly singularity. When destroyed, the singularity explodes, dealing 458 damage to enemies within a 6.5 meter radius. Like I said, we're not using this because it's glitched. I've never ever seen it actually proc the entire time I've been using this gun. What we're using it for is going to be the second perk, which is improved stiffening, right? So shots inflict slow on enemies, and then the cooldown is going to be 4 seconds. Now this works really great when my skills are on cooldown. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use this Pyromancer. I'm going to lift them up in the air, then I'm going to switch to the Grim Marrow. I'm going to slow them, and then I'm going to switch back to the Pyromancer, and I'm going to hit the blighted rounds. So that's going to keep your ammo in check, as well as giving you that extra damage at the same time. So let's go ahead. We're going to finish talking about this gun. The clip size is going to be 80. Rounds per minute is going to be 545. We got 13 damage base, 3-second reload with a 129% crit multiplier. Now another thing that I like is going to be this pistol, and I'm hoping that later on, once the game actually releases, we'll be able to use that first perk to put on a sniper rifle. I feel like it'll be very great. So the name of this gun is going to be Torment and Agony. It's pistols, full auto VAR. Firepower is really low. It's at 267. It's not that bad. It still works for me when I want to use it. It's got armor pierce at 11.7%. We got status power at 17.5%. And then we have close range damage at 6.5%. The reason I was talking about that is what we're going to go over now. The first perk, Judgment Enforcer. So shots marked enemies. When reloading, deal 5 times your weapon's damage to every marked enemy, right? So if I'm doing 5 times that damage after shooting somebody with a sniper rifle, I think that'd be really great, especially with being with this character being a support type character. You want to be behind cover most of the time anyway, So if I shoot them and just reload, most of the time they should be dead. And then the last part here, marks are removed when you change your weapon. So you want to make sure that you're not changing your weapon often when it comes to trying to put these marks on people. The second perk is going to be clip combustion. Reloading weapon creates a shockwave dealing 25 damage to enemies within a 5-meter radius. And then we have the clip size at 40. Rounds per minute is going to be 750. We got 13 base damage, and then we got 1.3 seconds reload with a 129% crit multiplier. All right, now that we're done talking about the weapons, let's go ahead and jump straight into the armor set gear that I am using here. And first we're going to talk about the headgear. So we got the Warden's helmet. Armor is going to come out at 194. We got Anomaly power at 48. This is going to be the max for the demo. And then we have that main perk, which is going to be more traps. So the Shrapnel, we're going to gain 1 additional mine, can be thrown before triggering the cooldown. Next on the list, we have the chest piece, which is going to be the Wraith's vest. The upper armor is going to come out at 199. Anomaly power is going to be 42. And then we have that main perk, no pain, no gain. It's going to be for the blighted rounds. When the skill ends, 40% of the damage dealt by the skill is turned into healing and spread equally amongst allies. Now this works really well for team play as well as solo play. Now at any time I can use any one of my guns. I can shoot 1 bullet and reload it as long as blighted rounds was on that weapon, and I'm going to be healed back to max as long as I've done enough damage. All right, so this low amount of health is not really going to matter. I'm getting health whether I shoot that guy or whether I reload with that blighted rounds. All right, next on the list we have the trousers, which is going to be the Wraith's trousers. It's going to be the lower armor. Armor is going to be 178. Anomaly power is going to come out at 42. And then we have that main perk, more damage for the Shrapnel. It's going to increase the skill's damage by 92 points. All right. Next on the list is going to be the gloves, which we're using with the blighted rounds as well. It's going to be the Wraith's gauntlets. Armor is going to come out at 209. We got max health there at 47. This is going to be the max for the demo. Now, I usually try to put at least 1 health on my build. It helps out a lot. Now, the main perk is going to be Trick Up the Sleeve for blighted rounds. While the skill is active, killing shots grant you 30% extra bullets in your mag. Now, this works really well with that shotgun as well. That's what I was saying before. If you're shooting something like a rifleman or a marksman, they're going to die with that 1 shot anyway. So you're just going to keep accumulating ammo in that magazine, and you're never going to run out as long as you're killing those lower guys. You can also do the combo that I was saying before. You can shoot the captain up in the air, slow him, and then shoot him again. But you want to make sure that you don't hit that blighted rounds until you're ready to use the Airy Master as your main weapon. All right. And last on that list, we're going to have the boots, which is going to be the Vanguard's boots. Armor is going to be 208. We have Anomaly power at 48. And then we have that main perk, which is supplies. For the Shrapnel, you're going to gain 1 additional mine, can be thrown before triggering the cooldown. Now for the boots, I would much rather have something else, because 2 Shrapnel traps will kill a captain with no problem after using that pain launcher. I would rather have something like critical analysis for the blighted rounds, which increase critical damage by 30%. That way I can use more damage, or my headshots are going to do more damage, or if it just hits a crit, because the second perk on that weapon is going to be critical point. It helps me out a little bit more to erase those enemies off the field so that I can keep moving and keep my ammo up. Now, something that I really like about this build too, for when the game actually releases, this is something you're going to want to look at as well. For this being a support character, it's probably going to be made more around snipers. You won't need this Anomaly power. You can gain it just as easy without having this much. So I can get this 390 back once the game releases and go more firepower, right? Which would work really well, especially if I can use that Judgment Enforcer on a sniper rifle. So high firepower, good perk, and then you're going to be looking at something like this. So we got the Tool of Destruction, which we can't get until level 9, but even with that, you got Massacre. Each enemy killed with the minigun gives 173 Anomaly power for 6 seconds. That is crazy amounts of damage, especially with being able to throw an ability with swiftness. These abilities come out quick and they're going to hit quick. So in 6 seconds, I can erase a field and not even have any Anomaly power. So those are things that you want to look at towards later gameplay. Me personally, when it comes to later gameplay, I think if anything, I'm probably going to keep the pain launcher and I'm going to drop the shrapnel, put that tool of destruction on there, and then use that with the blighted rounds. And then I can just do whatever I want. You're also going to want to keep the gloves as well, if you can find those, again, with the trick up the sleeve, because if you're using something like the minigun and you're killing enemies, you're just going to keep getting your ammo back. It's very OP. It sounds like it's going to be OP, and it's something that I'm definitely going to test out once the game actually releases. Now, I hope you guys like this video. This is just what I'm using for now. I just went ahead and farmed some things here. Wanted to try out the Technomancer, and like I said, this has become my most favorite altered out of all of the classes that I've seen so far, from how much damage it can actually do. Thanks for watching the video, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.